The War of Caernarvon Crescent.
Aurora's first birthday was approaching. It was a matter of days away. She was about to turn 1, and after all, we were in our new house and we didn't really have a housewarming. I thought it would be ideal to kill 2 birds with one stone and throw a party for close family and friends. It didn't take long to arrange. We made arrangements to do it on a Saturday, which was 2 days after Aurora's actual birthday, but I wanted to do it on a day where people could stay late and not worry about going to work the next day, as well as Aurora's cousins needing to go to school that following day. It was ideal. Not to mention that the weather was supposed to be mild and it wasn't going to rain. I planned to set up my gazebo along with my PA system in the garden so we wouldn't all be crammed into the house. I cleared my schedule for a couple of days before and right up till Monday. I didn't want the pressure of operating the sound for a show with tired ears from kids playing loud as well as being the DJ at Aurora's party. It didn't take long to round up what I needed. I went down to this meat man at the local market and he gave me a good deal on the barbecue meat package. 50 quid got me enough meat to feed an army. There are burgers, lamb chops, pork chops, ribs, chicken pieces of all descriptions and a selection of sausages. I could tell before the party that people would just be suffering from the meat sweats, and that would be awesome. Job done. As I was be the DJ, I arranged with my brother to be the barbecue master. Well, he is a chef after all. The day had come and I got up early in the morning. I think it was something like 6 a.m. This is a rare sight for someone in my profession, unless you were on tour, where you might get an early morning lay-in. Well, I digress. The gazebo was built last night and I used it to stash a load of flight cases of equipment that I hired from work. At a mate's rates discount, I may add. I pulled off the tarps and folded them up. There were various lengths of tomcat truss, so I could build a freestanding box rig, so I could rig some lights and my sound system into the air. It didn't take long to pin the legs to the bases. The hard part on my own was to connect the legs to the overhead sections, but I took the flight cases of lights and cables once emptied and stacked so I could use them to take the weight whilst I bolted the overhead sections in place. It took about an hour in total to pull it off. All 4 leg sections had 2 LED power cans apiece, and on the front overhead and the back were 4 more LED powers apiece. I rigged my tweeters into the air either side of the front trusses and placed the subwoofers on the floor. I positioned my control rack in the middle of the giant gazebo and truss structure, set up a trestle table and placed my MP3 decks and laptop along with a small lighting desk. I even had 2 bubble machines and a hazer. The bubble machines were placed on top of a tipped-up flight case either side of the gazebo, and the hazer was at the back of the gazebo so it could catch the lights inside. It didn't take me long to plug everything up and program the lighting desk. It was only a simple setup. As it was a kids' party, they just wouldn't really give too much of a shit. The setup was mainly for me, so the neighbourhood could see what I was all about, and it worked as an advert for my future work. It was now nearly 9 a.m. The party would start at noon. I went into the house and began to marinate the meat for the barbecue as well as dice the salad. I was going to do a sound check once the food prep was done. As I was about to start dicing the salad, there was a knock on the door. I just knew who it was going to be without looking. The biggest giveaway was the fact that Agamemnon was growling and barking at the door. I took a deep breath and exhaled slowly. I fumbled a cigarette out of my pocket and lit it. Normally I wouldn't smoke in the house, but I just knew I was going to have an argument. I walked over to the door and shut Agamemnon in the kitchen. I opened the front door and surprise, surprise, it was that vile wench from next door. Before the wrinkly abomination had a chance to say anything, I came out with, "Let me guess, you're dead set against what I've set up in the back garden, and you'll probably phone God knows who to complain about it. You'll insist that I need a permit, or that I should have informed you beforehand." The wench didn't know what to say. I guess I already beat her to it. She looked at me and I looked at her. My cigarette was still hanging out my mouth and I was spewing smoke out like a fucked car. The staring match went on for about a minute. I could still hear Agamemnon growling from the kitchen. "Look," I said, "my guests are going to be here soon and I've still got a lot to do. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to get on with it." I went to close the door, but the old bag opened her trap. "I hope you got a permit for that monstrosity out there," spat the wicked witch of the West. The ash from my cigarette was long and hanging off of the cigarette. A plume of smoke belched towards the old woman's face. With my cigarette still in my mouth, I said, "It's a private party in a private residence. I need no permit." I gestured to my right hand as though I was a Jedi conning my way past a group of stormtroopers. It was a wasted attempt of humour, as she didn't understand the reference. "Yes, you do," cried the old woman in utter disbelief of my defiance to her. "Look, lady," I said with the sternest voice, "I've been in the entertainment industry for a long time. It is my bread and butter. There is nothing you can say to make me question myself on the matter. This is my house and my garden. This is a private party for my little girl, and there is nothing that you could say or do to ruin it. You can call the council, you can call the police, and they'll do absolutely nothing about it. Now, if you don't mind, going to finish dicing my salad, then I'm going to do a sound check. And before you can even try to exaggerate to the authorities, just take note that I have my noise meter hooked up and recording, so I can prove to the authorities, who really won't care, that I've broken no laws." The old woman said nothing once more. You could see her brain trying to compute what I just said to her. The wheels in her head were turning. Nothing came to her mind to retort with. Once again, I went to close the door, and she spoke once more. "Well, what time is it going to finish?" she snapped. I took my cigarette out of my mouth and flicked it across my front garden in an attempt to clear the fence to the pavement, but it ricocheted off the tree and bounced back towards the living room window. "When it's finished, not before," I said, as I slammed the door on the wretched crone's face. I went back to the kitchen, gave Agamemnon a pat on his head, and opened up the back door for him to roam his yard. I went to the sink and washed my hands and resumed dicing my salad.
Thank you for listening to the War of Caernarvon Crescent. If you've enjoyed this production from SFX Media, why not check out more content by clicking the link in the description below. Until next time, soldier.